I am really, really happy to finally be on Hallo. I've been a part of Hallo, but not a teacher for a while, and I'm just so excited to do my first lesson. I just want to first let you know a little bit about me, and then get to know a little bit about you, whoever's watching. And then today I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to cook using a bread maker. So we're going to make bread together today. First thing to know about me is I love the kitchen. I love to cook. I have spent some time in Japan, some time in France. Je parle français. 私は日本語も喋ります. I speak French and Japanese. I also love to cook French, Japanese, American cuisines, as well as Indian and cuisines from around the world. And here's a cookbook I have from Japan. So one thing I found when I was cooking in Japan and in France was I did not know the language for how to cook. Food is easy, right? Like this is bananas. Bananas, you probably already know that, right? But there's a lot of cooking terms like to mix or to stir or to fry, saute, hard words that usually you don't learn. So I want to teach you more cooking terms as we make some delicious food together. I also love to sing. I love music. I sing a lot. Thanks for the comments, for joining. I see Dimpenkar, Edgar, Lucas, and Vaswat have joined. Thank you so much for commenting. So happy to have you here. Awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can learn. Like we can do a cake sometime and all sorts of different things. My husband and I, so here's a picture of, that's me and my husband. We love to cook healthy things. So to show you a little bit more, you'll be hungry. Lucas, I will be too. So here's our fridge. We just moved in, so that's a bunch of eggs. And here's some American milk. But I want to try and, if any of you want to, I'm new at this, so you're going to have to help teach me how to do like hop-ons, subscriptions. Edgar, that's so funny. You don't look fat from your picture. But you'll have to help teach me how to use lessons really well. So, but for today, we're just going to have a relatively short lesson. So I'm going to, maybe if anybody wants to hop on, do you want to comment? And we can get to know some of you. Edgar, you want to hop on? Oh, there's a button on the right. Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Hop-ons. Let's see. Oh. Do I press it? Do I press the button down and then it can do a hop-on? I don't see anybody wanting to do a hop-on. Or do I have to press? I touch your profile. Let's see. So do I touch your name and then you can hop on? Is it like, I can give you a high five like that? And then I can pin the comment, I can copy the clipboard. No, okay. Chaudhry, I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing your name totally wrong. How do I do it? Let's see. I'm using an iPhone. I know most people here use Android. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody. It's saying there's no Alrighty. So that's what you said. If you get a notification, you would see a number on that button. Okay, I'm not getting any notifications, so we might just have to do hop-ons next time. I'm so sorry. Oh, only subscribers can hop on. Is that it? Okay. Well, if anybody wants to subscribe, then I can hop you on and we can talk. I'm planning on doing a lesson every week at this time or a little bit earlier, so that we can learn how to cook together and learn more English in the kitchen. And no, Vesma, I don't have any subscribers yet. I'm a new teacher. But, okay, well, maybe can you tell me a little bit about yourselves in the comments? Let's see, what are you looking for? Where are you from? What do you want from me as a teacher? Pakistan, children's from Pakistan. Awesome, that's what said I might be your first subscriber. Oh, that's so nice. And then, awesome, where else are you guys from? Hey Gerard, thanks for joining. I'm just doing an intro video to let you know who I am. And then we're going to bake bread together in a bread maker. Hi, Sandos. Awesome, you're here to see me how I cook. Perfect, well, let's get started. We're just going to keep this lesson brief today because I know your time is important. I can do lessons a little bit earlier. Yeah, right, it's a little late in India. Okay, I could definitely do that. But today, we'll spend about 10-15 minutes and I'll teach you how to make bread in a bread maker. So here is a bread maker. So normally it takes a long time to make bread by hand. So by hand is when you use your hands and you don't use a machine. And so, hey Sora, thanks for joining. So a bread maker, you can put all the ingredients in this little container and it will do everything else for you. So you can place the ingredients in and then it will mix them together and make the bread rise. Does anybody know what rise means? Thanks, Vaswat. Hey, George. Yes, George, you know what rise means. Can you maybe describe it in a sentence, in a short or a phrase? I would hop you on if I knew how. Oh, you invite someone, it does not cost coins? Okay. Awesome. Edgar, are you? Let's see. I'm not seeing how to make you be able to have you hop on yet. That's really helpful, though. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and then we can try it later. Yeah, and Lucas, you're right. It's so cool because it can mix inside. So there's this little paddle. There's this paddle, which mixes. So normally, and then I have to put it back inside. And it's a little hard. You have to line it up just right. There we go. Hi, Hassan. Doing great. So normally, in cooking, we mix with a whisk, right? So this is a whisk. Maybe wherever you are, if you can try saying that. It's a little bit hard to pronounce. Whisk. Whisk. And sorry, you guys, I'm not able to hop you on today. If you subscribe, I think I should be able to hop you on next time. This is the word, whisk. Whisk. Yeah, that's a good guess, Sondos. Whisk, wask. Yep. So we like to mix with a whisk. But with the bread maker, as whiskey. Yep, a little bit different. So bread maker, I'm going to type it out. Bread maker. We don't need a whisk. We just need that little paddle. Paddle. And I recommend everybody, if you want here to learn words, so here's the paddle. Paddle. To write down the words. And I will try and get you a vocabulary list. So that's paddle. Paddle. So when you have, well, I'll go over pronunciation another day. Yeah, paddle. Exactly. Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Marl. Thanks for coming. Great. And our cake, I saw. Yep. So I was studying business at school, but now I'm working. I'm working full time. So, and then this is I get to work for Hello. So let's see. So we have a recipe book. Recipe. Recipe. Does anybody know what a recipe is? What's a recipe? Okay, Mohammed, what's a recipe? Can you write it in the chat, in the comments? Yeah, how to make a dish. It's making food. Yeah, so a recipe just is a list of steps on how to make food. So my husband and I like to follow recipes, and my husband does not. My husband, the man I am married to, he does not like to follow recipes. He makes up his own recipes. Yeah, great, George. Yep. Awesome. Very great. Thanks for joining. So I have a recipe here that I'm following called soft egg bread. I forget the recipes too, Sandos. Soft egg bread. So I have to use the book. Soft egg bread. So what we're going to do now is follow the recipe, and I'm going to teach you some cooking terms. Does that sound good? Cool. So we are going to start with 1 cup of milk. So 1 cup. So I'm going to show you what 1 cup is in English. So we use weird measurements. So here's the measuring cup, and it's 1 cup. So I have a little bit more than 1 cup, but I'm going to use it anyway. So we're making bread today. So 1 cup of warm milk. And so I'm going to pour it in there. So it's in there now. I just poured it in. Pour. This is to pour. To pour is pouring liquid. So you can pour water. This is cow milk. That was cow milk. Yep. And you can pour, it's going to be sweetbread. Well, yeah, a little bit both. And then you can also pour any sort of liquid. Liquid is something like milk. It's fluid. Look it up. And then next we have 5 tablespoons of melted butter. So here's some melted butter that I've already melted. Yeah, Mohammed, liquid is something like water. Great job. Hi, Melissa, thanks for joining. So now we're going to pour the butter in. Because butter, since it's melted, is a liquid. So I could scrape that in a little bit more, but don't need to. So why? We're making bread. Melted butter, perfect. So do you understand melt? So to melt. I can't type right now. My phone's a little funny, but exactly. Keket, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Melt is when something becomes like water. It's when you heat it up, like in a microwave. Here's a microwave. Or in the oven. And it becomes like water. So normal butter is a solid. It's not a liquid. But when you melt it, it's a liquid. So next up in the recipe is eggs, room temperature eggs. And these are a little bit cold still. So I have some eggs here, 3 eggs. So I'm going to heat them up a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to heat them up just a little bit more, and then we're going to crack them. But does anybody know what? Oh, archaic, great. Melt is to expose something to heat. Perfect. Awesome. Esmail, I would love to invite you, but this is my first lesson, so I'm still learning how to have you hop on. So I'll have you next week. I will learn how to do hop-ons. So thank you for your patience with me. So we have 3 eggs that we are going to crack. So to crack, we have to break an egg. This is an egg on a hard surface. So to crack, you crack the shell. So this white part of the egg is called a shell. S-H-E-L-L. So we're going to crack these eggs and put them in with the milk and the melted butter. So I don't know if I can do this one-handed. So I'm going to put you on by my window, and I'm going to crack the egg. Can you see? So I'm going to crack it, and I'm going to put it in. Can you hear that? So here's the shell. Now it's just the shell. I'm going to throw that away. And now I'm going to put 2 more eggs in. I'm going to crack it. Hey, Maral, thanks everybody for joining. Archaic, you could break it with one hand. That's super cool. I can't. I'm not that talented. Hi, Mary. Hi, Melissa. Thanks for staying on, guys. I'll figure out hop-ons next time. So I'm going to crack the 3rd egg. But this time I'm going to I let the yolk go. So the yellow part of the egg that I already put in is the yolk. And then the rest of it is the white. So next time we do a cooking lesson, I'll show you a little bit better. So now we have all of our liquid ingredients in. We have milk, we have melted butter, and we have eggs. Yep. Yolk is the yellow one. Exactly. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Isabel, that's really funny. I'm going to wash my hands with soap because eggs in America are not safe to eat raw. When you eat an egg uncooked, so raw, R-A-W means uncooked. Eggs are not safe to eat raw in the U.S. They're not pasteurized. The white one, Dave, is called whites. It's just called whites. Isn't that easy? So I'm going to wash my hands really quickly, and I will come right back, and we'll do the next step. So next, we are going to add the dry ingredients. Okay. Thanks for waiting for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, next we're going to add dry ingredients. So I have here sugar, granulated sugar. I have flour, unbleached bread flour. And then I have salt, S-A-L-T. And I have yeast. Myself, you're right. Myself was slow. Thank you, Sophia. And we have a delicious live stream. I love to cook. So everybody who hasn't come yet, thank you so much for joining today. Okay, so what we're going to do next, I'm going to show you how Americans measure dry ingredients. So the recipe said 1/3 cup of sugar. So we don't use like liters or milliliters. We don't use what normal people use in every other country. In America, in the US, we're a little weird. So we use what's called, this is a cup, C-U-P, which is normally a cup is what you drink out of, right? So this is also a cup. It's what you drink out of. But measurements. Measurements, does everybody know what to measure means? To measure is, flower like in flower pronunciation. Perfect, Sandos. Thank you so much for that. I'll be working on being able to help you pronounce everything. But thank you for all your comments. You're helping each other a lot. So we're going to measure 1/3 a cup of sugar. So I'm going to take this cup and put it in the bag. And I'm going to even it out. Here, I'll show you. 1 second. So here, can you see? So it's a little bit big, right? It's a little bit overflowing. Too much. Overflowing is when you have too much of an ingredient, of the stuff you put in a recipe, in a dish, in a meal, in food, and it's overflowing. Like if a cup, here I'll show you. This cup, I'll show you what overflowing is. So this is a cup, and if I pour it too much water in, it's going to overflow. So this is when all the water, oh no, it's overflowing, look at that, it's overflowing. So I think there are 8 grams in a cup, I'm not sure, there's 8 ounces in a cup. That's a really good question. Solids can also technically overflow. Really good question, Debashi. Sorry, I probably butchered your name. So solids, so what we like to do in the US when we want to have a perfect recipe, to keep it precise, we use a knife, and here I'll show you over my trash can, and we make it even, but we normally do it back in the container. So we make it even with a knife, and to make it even means to keep it flat. So look, it's perfect. Ta-da! So now it's all perfect. And Mary, thank you so much for subscribing. So now we're going to put the sugar into the bread maker. So we're just going to pour it in. You can pour dry ingredients, solids too, not just liquids. So you can pour things with small little bits like sugar, right? They have lots of little parts. So you can pour it. It looks kind of like a liquid. Albina, thanks for joining from Turkey. And for those of you that don't know, this is my first time, so I'm still figuring out the hop-ons. So if you subscribe, I can have you hop on next time. So we're going to try and finish our lesson in the next 8 minutes. But thank you all so much for coming. So excited to have you here. So next, we have 2 teaspoons of salt. So these are, this is called a measuring cup. So it's a cup that measures something. So even though this one is 3/4 of a cup, it's 3/4 of a cup. And we'll go over into measurements and numbers another lesson, another day. But we also have measuring spoons. So these are all like spoons, but they're all different sizes, right? Rim, exactly, measuring cup. Or it's like dabashi, you're right, it's like a scoop. So you scoop the right amount. So in the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of salt. So this is 1 teaspoon. So little t, S-P. Sometimes it's a capital T, it's a big T, and it's confusing. But teaspoon is T-S-P. So, great. All right. So now for the salt, we're going to pour it. I will pour it over this bowl. I never pour it over the recipe because you don't want too much salt. If you get too much salt in your recipe, no bueno. It's no good. That's Spanish for no good. So that's 1 teaspoon. You see how it's flat? Perfect. So we're going to pour that in. And then it calls for 2 teaspoons. So we're going to do 1 more. 1 more teaspoon. So those of you who have joined us a little bit late, where are you from? And what are you excited to learn? from my class. Oh, awesome. 1 cup is 128 grams. Thank you, Dave, for looking that up. Okay, so I'm pouring the salt in. And now we have only 2 ingredients left. One is flour, and the next is yeast. Awesome. Araceli is from Mexico. Great. And I'll have to show you the bread, how it looks next time. So, this is the wrong cup. I need a different measuring cup. So I'm going to show you my drawers. So here is, this is called a dish rack. So once I wash my dishes, when my dishes are dirty and I wash them, I put them in a dish rack to dry so I can put them away. And Uzbekistan saying, awesome, Mary. Thank you so much. Okay, so we don't, I think the cup is already in the flour bag. My bad. My husband and I love to make homemade bread. We make it probably every other day. But I also made apple pie this weekend. I love to cook French and Japanese American cuisine. Ram, that's awesome. You're from Morocco, and Ed Tihal from Egypt. Islam from Pakistan. And I'm doing so well. Oh, SP from India. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming and being here. So, we need 4 cups. 4 cups of flour. So I'm just scraping. So to scrape, we'll go over that another time. To scrape is to make, so you see how it's not exactly, it's hard to show, but it's not perfectly even, but it's close enough. Sometimes in recipes, you're okay if you're close enough. But I could also use the knife trick, right, to make it very perfect, but I don't really care. So I'm just going to pour it in. So you also can pour in flour, which somebody mentioned earlier, is the same way you pronounce flower, like a really pretty, like these are flowers. These are fake flowers, but they're still flowers. So you have flour and flower, but they're spelled differently. So I'm going to finish putting this in really quick. So that's 2 cups. You always want to count out loud so you don't forget. Alvina, thanks. And here's another cup. That's 3 cups. And the recipe called for 4 cups. Right? And I'm 22 years old. My husband is also 22. Okay, you ready? Then there's the 4th cup. Perfect. So now, I'll show you what the inside of this looks like. It looks just like flour, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. So the very last ingredient we need, which is really important, is yeast. Yeast is a rising agent. Oh, I got flour on my nose. Yeast is a rising agent. It helps the bread to get bigger. So to rise is like, I'm rising up. I'm getting taller or bigger. And that's what yeast does. Yeast helps the bread rise. So what we're going to do is add 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. So I'm going to pour the yeast in. You can also pour yeast. Wow, there's so many things you can pour. 1.5. And so I'm just going to pour the rest of this yeast in. Perfect. And then we're almost done. Okay. And thank you, Lino. It's my first day of class. Sorry I wasn't able to figure out hop-ons today, guys. If you come back next week, we'll definitely figure it out. Wow, thank you so much for part. Really, really appreciate your guys' support. I really enjoyed having class with you today. Yes, yeast helps make bread fluffy. Exactly, fluffy is a great word. I love it. Okay, thank you, Atahil. Okay, so here is the bread maker. So we're going to, if you can see, we're going to press the buttons. The weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, the weight is 1,000 grams. That's how big of a loaf we're making. Or it's 2 pounds. 1,000 grams is 2 pounds. And then we're going to do the cross color as light, and we're going to start it. Can you hear that? Yeast. Now, pronouncing yeast is yeast. Yeast. It's kind of, you can see my pronunciation. Yeast. My teeth are a little bit apart. I love going over pronunciation, teaching vocabulary, and a lot of different topics, and I also love conversation. So please come back and join me next time. It's been so great to get to know you guys. I'm so excited. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you subscribe, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks. Bye.